19th century. As discussed above, the Indian crafts and industries, particularly the textile industry, continued to flourish up to the 18th century. But all these industries and crafts began to decay with the advent of the British rule due to obvious reasons. The ill effects of Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution in England greatly added to the ruin of different handicrafts in the 19th century. The different things produced by the British factories were not only available in abundance, but they were cheaper as well as better in quality than the Indian handicrafts. Indian cloth could not compete with the mill-made cloth imported from England. Loss of patronage of the Indian rulers. The Indian rulers and nobles were great patrons of the Indian handicrafts, but with the loss of their territories and status, their patronage also became a thing of the past. In the absence of any encouragement, the Indian handicrafts, especially the textile industry, were bound to suffer. Difficulty in procuring raw materials. In order to feed their factories in England, the agents of the English company began buying raw materials from Indian markets in bulk. Indian weavers and craftsmen were starved of cotton and other raw materials. Thus, the paucity of raw materials also added to the woes of the Indian craftsmen and gradually led to the decline of handicrafts. Levying heavy taxes on Indian craftsmen. The British rule imposed discriminatory and unjust restrictions on goods made in India, which ruined her flourishing handicrafts and indigenous textiles. One simple way to achieve this aim was to levy heavy taxes on the Indian craftsmen, which forced them to close their establishments and seek work in factories run by the British capital. Imposing heavy export duties on Indian goods. With a view to discourage export of Indian goods, they were burdened with heavy export duties. In contrast, the British government levied very little import duties on foreign goods coming to India. This discriminatory import and export duties finally led to the ruin of Indian handicrafts, particularly the Indian textile industry. Indifference of the British rulers. The British wanted India to become only a big supplier of raw materials for their industries and to serve as an open market for their finished goods. This policy of the British Company practically ruined the textile industry and handicrafts of India.